Hi there, this is Jim the Keys Bartender. I'm in Key Largo. This is the Keys Bartender podcast. I'm here with Papa Joe.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, yeah, he's unwinding a little. Are you unwound?
I'm unwound now.
Okay, Papa Joe. This episode, we're just going to be, I think it's going to be Merde, exclamation point. Merde.
Merde.
Yeah. Oh, good. We'll talk about that a bit later. I was starting out with, I mentioned to Jenna last week that I had been asked by a coworker of mine in my restaurant. She's an English teacher, and she has college-bound seniors, and every so often, once a week, she brings in someone to speak to them. And I didn't know how long they wanted to speak. They didn't know what to speak. She was suggested by one of the owner's daughter of the Catch is her student, very successful student, Molly, and she told her teacher that I would be very motivating. And they asked me to do it, so I came up and I'm thinking about a subject, and it's something that would be useful to a high school senior and all that. And what I did was I spoke about resilience, how important it was, that you're going to have obstacles in lives and you're going to be able to come back. And I talked about it ad nauseum in a previous episode, but I did forget one thing. It was very well received, and I got the feedback. The feedback, they were quiet, very attentive, and I got feedback from them when I was talking to them. I asked questions, and they chimed right in. They were engaged, so I succeeded at that, and I always try to do a positive message. That's the reason. For some reason, I guess that's the reason why. I don't know how the hell that Tony Robbins thing shows up, but that's what I try. I try to bring value to people's lives.
Well, it's important for high school kids, especially.
Well, the unique part of it, one of our clientele at the restaurant overheard that, and she said, "Oh, what an honor! Why in the hell would they ask you?" And I go, and I just went, and I know I talk about this shit all the time, that whenever anybody says something about you, anybody else's opinion is none of your business. Anybody's opinion about yourself, what they think of you, is none of your business. Now, that doesn't give you license to be an asshole. So you try, first of all, that part only works if you're trying to be a decent person. If you're not a decent person, it's going to be hard for you to get the peace of mind to be able to ignore hostilities and poor things.
Did this person at the bar, it was just being clumsy with words, or was it a barbed comment?
I think it was a barbed comment. I think it was a little self-loathing. Like they say, failed. There was a woman who was a bit older than me, and she may have had issue with it, or maybe I should be, or something like that. And she goes, well, she actually said, I think one of the things that followed was, you're like the opposite of someone that should go in and talk to seniors. What are you going to talk about? And I said, I go like this. You know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to be talking about how to get fucked up real quick, how to make fake IDs, how to sneak into bars, how to pull bar pranks on people. What the fuck do you think I'm going to say to people? What do you think I'm going to talk about? Oh, that's great. Why you're college-bound seniors. Why don't you ditch the engineering class and just become a bartender? Which, some of them may become bartenders and stuff like that. Which, hey.
It may not be a bad idea.
It's not, hey, it works for me. It works for me what I do. I could do a lot of other things that pay more and I get more time off. But the things I like to do, and it's like having a little, wherever I work, I say, listen, you're going to have to put up with several things. I have lots of opinions. I'm an opinionated person. I'm an opinionated person. It's only recently I understand that I don't have to be insulted when people don't accept my opinions. It's only a recent development for me that I can mentally handle disagreement. I used to be able to topically handle it and go, let's agree to disagree, you asshole. You know what I mean? Right now, it's like, well, yeah, it's the variety's the spice of life. Some of my best friends disagree with me vehemently. Now, there's certain things I will not. The things about being a good person, decency, common decency.
Yeah, why would you come
I don't.
No one should. I would have.
There's no. Well, your behavior belies your words. Right? So this lady says all these things like I'm the opposite and all that stuff. And right after she said that, I'm like, whoa, did that affect me? It went right against that, one of those primary tenets I try to hold to. Other people's opinions on myself is none of my business. And I took it to heart for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, which is a long time.
Yeah.
And I go, fuck. And there was other things I'm thinking, I just want to do that. Someone had done something at work last week. I don't want to say it because of current work and stuff like that. And it had caused me an ongoing loss of income. And it was intentional.
Oh.
And I have to work with the person. So I could have been, and it was addressed. It was addressed this week. And I could be resentful about the history and dig into how long and what and this and that, and then just feel like shit and have eventually not get along, cause disruption or something like that. Or I can just go, it's a theory. Now, you may call me a pussy. It's called radical forgiveness. You go, it's like, go for it. I mean, I'm not a churchgoer, but there was one thing I like about Christianity, right? One of the things is, after you're baptized, go forth. You're washed of your sins. Go forth and sin no more. Isn't that, go forth.
Well,
go, you know what? This is it. This is the payment for it. Go forth and sin no more. I'm done with it. I'm not saying I'm done with you. I'm done with it. Right? I know. And you can't do it. You can't do that for everything. Obviously, if someone means you evil intent or can hurt you.
No, I would use the Tao instead of that. Either way, we're going to be talking about forgiveness. There is a great forwarding of oneself. When you forgive someone, you begin to see things that you would not have normally seen because you've let go of the hate, the rage, the anger. And when those filters come off your eyes, you'd be surprised.
I felt so much better.
Opportunity.
I felt so much better, especially with that one,
positive.
the previous one. I could go and say, hey, listen, you're going to have to earn my trust again. I'm going to do these punitive things. All this bullshit stuff. Yeah, and I go, wait a second.
That doesn't further you any.
What?
It doesn't further you.
It doesn't further the environment I want to be in. It makes me feel negative. I know. It sounds like some of you people would say, it's best to approach something and settle it right there. If you're going to, if somebody pisses you off, I'm just going to go and fuck them up, or do whatever people do, the disruptors out there. And for certain things, injustices, it makes sense to be a disruptor, but in personal life, it doesn't really help.
Sometimes just being you is the disruption. And what's great about that is when you stand for what you stand for. You're coming from the heart. You stand for who you are, right? You're an honest person. You're just doing what you do. Sometimes that's disruptive to people like this woman, where all you said was, I was asked to go speak to some kids. Ooh, there was a reaction. There's now ripples across her pond, so to speak. You can't control that. All you could do is either choose to react or choose not to react. But in doing either of those, there's an internal reference. Yeah. I'm going to react because you're a dumb bitch and I'm going to shit on you. Or I'm going to choose not to react because I've not walked in your shoes. Mm-hmm. I don't know your pain. I don't know your reference. And so what's more important to me is I'm going to go talk to these kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And whether you think highly of it or not.
It was funny. For the topic I was picking, it was directly attributable to the qualities you need to have when someone you feel like you've been put down cast aspersions or cast on you. It really speaks to that, and being able to come back to that peace of mind. We just started about 10 minutes ago. The owner has returned of the Kelly Kon-Tiki.
Jenna has arrived.
Yeah. Kon-Tiki Resort here in Central Key Largo. I won't say north anymore because there's plenty of north above us. So that's really been helping me. It's when you're driving down the road and someone does an asshole move, like you really don't know. They could be having a fucking heart attack. They could be having a screaming fight. There could be a bee on them or something like that. I don't know what the fuck's going on. To get upset over someone else's state of mind, what they're doing. I mean, I had a guy freak out on me at Poland when I made a U-turn in front of him, but he was about 150 to 200 meters away when I started doing it. I don't understand why he would freak out like I just did it right in front of him. It was like 2 football fields away. So I'm like, why would you fucking speed up? So and I won't go any deeper in it because there's a ridiculous implication.
But see, listen, that happens to everyone. Traffic is a perfect example, right? So you're driving down the road and someone does something profoundly stupid on some level. Some things people do can be serious, right?
Yep.
Doesn't really matter because what can you do except drive defensively and go about your business?
Yeah, you're not going to change your habit by going and reacting to them.
And if you flame out in your vehicle and you start yelling and screaming, some people say, well, that might be therapeutic. Yeah, but not every therapy is a positive one.
Well, you could do it with your windows rolled down and maybe scream. There's primal scream therapy and all this stuff.
But
getting out, diffusing it by not referencing a past injustice. This reminds me of something else. Everyone has their coping mechanism.
Yeah, primal screams I don't see happening too often. Rage I see happening often.
Rage. If it brings you to the place where it's all telling like a lie detector. A thing that brings your pulse down and your brain waves and slows down your thinking and all those things. Well, obviously you got to be quick thinking when shit goes on in front of you in a road. But those things are telling when you're calming down and you're actually doing something. You realize you're doing something that helps you. You realize, and you can't, and it's really maddening when you can't get the person, your significant other, to calm down. And sometimes asking someone to calm down is as difficult. It's like doing the opposite.
It's like putting gas on the fire.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes. Well, to me, it's like I think what I'm saying is you're making a judgment on their concern, their level of importance they're putting on this issue, and you're going, it's not that important. And their head's going, are you fucking kidding me? This is so important, and you're telling me and you're putting it's number 1, and you're moving it down to number 10, and it's freaking me out, and all this stuff. And that's I don't know what it comes from. People say it's your id, your ego, or whatever, something like that. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If you recognize, you go like this. This, right now, this is important to me, but will it be important to me tomorrow, day after tomorrow? Is that a sham? I don't know. You just got to really mean, if there's issues that are poignant and timely, like someone on the fire, you throw them on the ground and roll them over, right? And hit with a blanket, stuff like that. And there's other matters of opinion, which you have time to hash out. And sometimes people aren't willing to hash them out in that time. So that's the part where, the heated discussions come up and things like that. That's where I'm trying to get out of my head. And I don't always do it. Your body, you're not always physically, my body and mind are tied together like everyone else's, but I get exhausted sometimes. The way I train, I don't know why I do it. I do it on some days when I work a double. I'm 56 years old, and I'll work out for 2 hours, and then I'll go to work. And then I forget, hey, Jim, your work's your workout. You're working for 12 hours. You don't have to fucking go to the gym. Go to the gym on your day off.
Yeah, that might help you, huh?
Yeah, that's what, it's just common sense. I just think, and you know what, Jim? You're not going to look like a 22-year-old guy. But it'd be all right. I just want to look like a great 56-year-old guy. And maybe that makes into a great looking 56-year-old guy may look like he's 44. So I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Who am I to judge?
I just want to be in shape.
We would change the subject before. Hopefully, Jenna can come on. This is, we may have to talk about this a little longer, but I had a Jehova Witness come and visit me the other day. Yeah, no, but that's not the married part. That'll be after break.
Married for
yeah,
buddy.
Jehova Witness. Now, I had a really long, there was this older African-American gentleman, black gentleman, used to come around, Ray. I love Ray. He was a Jehova Witness. He'd come in, he'd bring the people that he trained to my house. And people say, "What are you doing it? You're letting him in." I said, "Well, I'm being nice." I said, "I'm not. What do you think? What do you think if I'm going to convert? Like if I can have a gay friend and not, hang out the weekend with him and not be gay at the end of it. Not that that's a bad thing, and not that being a Jehova Witness maybe, because I have some interesting, we'll talk about it as break. I have some interesting, it's all tied into this. But I talked to Ray, and Ray was a wonderful guy. I hope he's still around. I haven't seen him in a couple years. But he used to come in. I used to offer him water and all that stuff. And he'd bring in these nice little preachers and stuff like that. He had all different ones. He had some young women, some young guys, black and white, whatever, that come in. And he says, "Oh, this is a nice guy. You let him in." But you're never going to change him. If you could change him, then good luck, Yeah. Ray, I think that's what Ray was saying, because he's what do you call that? A Catholic, lapsed Catholic that had enough of this shit. I hope I didn't want to try to convince. I said, "Man, I better not make my arguments too good, right?" I'm trying to go, okay, I'm listening to it. And the shit they're telling me something like you tell an 8th grader, they had cartoons and they show me things and they ask me yes questions. "Well, wouldn't you like to be there?" And I say, "Yeah, I'd like Santa Claus to come down with a load of presents for me too." Well, how's that likely that's going to happen? So while he's doing this over weeks, this guy comes in and he starts asking me this stuff, and he's not like Ray at all. He goes right in, "Well, you got to do this in order to go like," I said, "You're going with the hard sell. I know your whole thing. There are only 144,000 anointed ones that will rule in heaven with Jesus." Now, currently, and I said to this guy, because I stay up on my most of my thing, I think there's a little over 8 million adherents, Jehova Witnesses, right?
That's a lot of goodbyes coming
Yeah. And that's the people that are alive. So maybe there was 20 million total of Jehova Witnesses that have died since 1880 was created. Since then, I think maybe 20 million adherents have lived and died as a Jehova Witness. 20 million. Less than Christ. If you do that right, I think that would be less than 1% of the people would be about 0.8%. 1 out of 130, 140 get to the top level. And then I did a little further statistic. 1% of Jehovah's Witnesses are expelled each year. That's a significant number. 1%. 1 out of 100, that's not many. Well, how long is an average person's life? A little 70 plus years in the years where, nowadays. So 70% of the people over a course of a lifetime were expelled. Now, I'm not saying you have the 70% chance, but you have a really good chance if you live 70 years, you might be expelled 1 year. If you marry a non-Mormon, you refuse to raise your children Mormon, you celebrate a birthday.
You don't give over your tax information. You don't pay your appropriate amounts of tithes. That's why they ask for your tax information.
All sorts of things. Just like they would do Mormon and Muslim and Catholic and stuff like that. So you do this. Imagine if you're an Amway salesperson. Jenna, are you with us?
I'm here.
Hi, Jenna. An Amway salesperson. Here, I'm an Amway salesperson. Okay. Forget about what I said before. Jenna.
Pyramid scheme.
No, your pyramid scheme. Yeah, but listen, we call it multi-level marketing. And the top level is where you want to be.
Wow.
Okay? It's going to be top level. I'm telling you, you sell these products. These products sell themselves.
That's right.
And you get people underneath them and underneath you.
Invite your friends.
And you invite your friends and all this stuff. And you're going to always do that. That's what you're always going to do. You're always going to be promoting yourself. You're going to go out there. You're going to promote the organization, do this. And the more people you get, the higher you raise in the rank. And the higher. Wow. Well, what are the chance? You may ask me a question and say, what are the possibilities of me getting at the top of his rank? You go, well, less than 1%. And that's not guaranteeing that you'll be with us, because every year 1/100th of our members are just expelled for violating some obscure rule. So with the 70%, you may have like a 0.3%. If you put all your efforts in and try your hardest, 0.3%, you'll be on the time. What do you think of that deal? 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 300. Let's go.
Oh, but first, how much money did you make this week? You need to write us a check for 10% of that.
Meh.
That's your entrance.
Well, Amway, you're going to have to buy $5,000 worth of shampoo.
No.
That's how I equate it.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're United Airlines and a frequent flyer miles, right? It's such a great program, United Airlines frequent flyer. After 10 years, you may have a chance to be upgraded to first class. Maybe not. But if you do something stupid in those 10 years while flying, you might go on the no-fly list and never be able to fly again. What kind of deal do you think that is? That's what the guy was telling me at this thing, and I go like this: "Come on, buddy, you got to sell the sizzle, not the steak, or you sell the gravy, sell the sauce." Thank you. That's wonderful. Oh, that's the good South American stuff with the real poison in it.
Yeah, it's the jungle formula insect repellent.
Okay,
I get it from the neighbor.
So that Jehova Witness thing, it always gets. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's creepy.
It's almost any religion. Come on, you have to go approach it door and trying to recruit someone.
No, it is any religion. Evangelicals, Mormons, they're all coming at when they're on the street and they're banging their drums or waving their flags or
you know who doesn't recruit you? You know who doesn't recruit you?
The what?
You know who don't recruit?
Hebrews, Jews.
Jews don't recruit.
No, what?
They don't want you.
Catholics don't recruit.
Catholics don't. Well, not in the United States. Not in. Where they do their stuff is in third world countries, Africa.
And how do they do that? They open up hospitals, churches.
Well, they give opportunity.
Outreach.
I know they give opportunity. There's a young guy in Zambia.
They run
may
schools.
end up going to a seminary and stuff like that, and can end up being a priest in the suburbs of Birmingham, Alabama, and that people, supposedly, Catholics can be, as much as one could be supporter of racist stuff like that. But when you're in a church and if your priest is black or Chinese or anything like that, they may not like the way they speak.
Yeah, probably not.
But if they're Catholic, they're not going to diss them.
No, they'll just write to the archdiocese and tell them, move this guy.
Maybe maybe not.
I guarantee that's what would happen.
They don't. Hey, listen. There's plenty of white guys that they should have moved too, and they did move around a lot. You know what? We're at 23 minutes. We did that Jehova Witness thing. We're going to take a little break right now. So, what do you think?
Everyone, play your tambourines on the break.
Okay.
Whether you're one of our regular visitors to the Florida Keys or you can't wait to visit for the first time, you'll want to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the Florida Keys. To learn all the secrets, tips, and the stuff we don't talk about to anyone but each other, visit 43keys.com. Sign up for our newsletter and never miss any of the exciting things we have planned for you. That's 43 Keys. The number 4, the number 3, keys.com.
Very exciting middle part of this thing. We were having
the break conversation.
The break conversation. We went into the Jehova Witness, and I don't want to pick on the Jehova Witness, but this was Papa Joe. Tell me the story right here.
Well, we live in a neighborhood that has a very active Jehova Witness hall, and they're
same neighborhood.
Your old neighborhood.
No, this neighborhood.
Oh, that was here?
Oh, I had more.
It's less than a mile. It's a half a mile south of here.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hall.
Yeah. No, listen.
It's a small town.
They're good people. They're good people.
Yeah.
When they came to the house, They're real nice. And I, like you, I don't turn them away. I'm not nasty to them.
They handed you the Watchtower.
No, it wasn't the Watchtower. It was a book. Here was the book. The book was
it that comic book?
Jesus for Atheists, essentially. And how, in other words, the premise of the book is we're going to prove to you Jesus was real. This is written for you who doesn't believe in anything. Now, that's the book they gave me. And so I read it. And it was just filled with metaphor and stories. And there, of course, there were biblical passages. And I read the Bible. I still do.
And you know what, though? Just so you know about the Bible, as a literary piece, it's very disassociative. The ideas are disconnected, and the plot lines do not follow directly through. They jump around a lot. That's just when you know. I'll tell you, what's his name? L. Ron Tolkien, when he created his thing, he streamlined that thing.
So did Lenin.
Yeah, streamlined it.
So did Lenin.
All made up.
Listen, it's a book that you can morph it into whatever you want it to.
The book
so they handed me the book. I read the book. I told them I would. I read it. I made my notes. And I said, well, I actually have two books that get right to the point on truth and religion. And Thomas Paine wrote both of them. And so Rights of Man and Common Sense. And so I handed that to them, and I said, I want you to read this. And they were very resistant to reading something. And I said, well, maybe you shouldn't be that resistant. Read them. It's going to challenge what you believe. If you believe honestly that this is the truth that you believe, then your beliefs will be resistant to
that
to a
interesting
challenge.
Point. That one particular point where people aren't allowed to investigate a supposed other line of reasoning because it is it will make it spiritually unsound. It's a gateway for Satan or
Right. Consider it poisonous.
Yes. Imagine anything. If you go and read Karl Marx. No, can you read Karl Marx? Can you read Karl Marx without becoming a communist?
Of course you can.
Absolutely.
Can you read Mein Kampf without being a Nazi?
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, if that's all you feed yourself on, and we just mentioned this before, and you were talking about the circle of logic, that they use the confirmation of someone writing, saying this is the person. And the only way to prove the fact is coming back to another writing that says this is the person.
It's a solipsism.
It's Jesus is a...
stories that were eventually written, and by the way, written after Christ, for the most part. The experience of Christ was written well after he was dead. And as a result of them being written, therefore they're true. No, that's circular thought. That's twisted logic. That doesn't mean they're true. It just means that there's great stories that were eventually written down.
And then people selected and put in the compilation because the King James Bible and the Catholic Bible and all that stuff, they're selecting for. And it's a translation of a translation of a translation.
Oh, yeah.
And so where they go, the final thing is going like, what's the final thing? What do they say?
They're all written by different people as well.
No, what do they say? What do you call it then? What's the umbrella thing that makes it all good? Divine inspiration.
It's divine inspiration.
Divine inspiration. Joseph Smith reading through the bottom of the magic hat, through the golden rocks or secret rocks, the seeing stones,
right,
or whatever stuff like that. Whatever the burning bush. God told me there was a burning bush. Here's the rocks. Oh, they broke. Here's a bunch of sand. But I'll tell you what was on those lists. There are 10 words. 10 commandments. There were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, there's 10 commands. Definitely 10 commands. Maybe 12. No, 10.
The most important, by the way, the most important message that God was going to give Israel, 7 of them were property crimes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You don't hold my attention when you pull shit like that. So,
and they made God look like a very angry prom queen.
Pretty much.
Prom queen. Because he showed up at the prom. She showed up late. And they're worshiping a golden calf. God shows up in the form of the 10 commandments. And who throws a bitch fit? Moses, and throws the stones down at him. So like, what? I don't arrive for 2 hours and you're going to have a party without me? That's what it was, a party. I mean, if you saw the 10 Commandments, the one with Charlton Heston, there were some really hot women dancing over that golden calf. They were, man. The party I wanted to go to.
Hey man, I've seen some Israeli defense soldiers, the females.
Oh, they're super hot. Oh, they are so hot. Well, Gal Gadot, the Wonder Woman, was in.
Gal Gadot.
Gadot. French. We were just talking. We were talking about the French thing. Oh, we didn't even mention that yet.
Oh, but anyway, that was my experience with them. However, I will say this: whether you read the Tao or Buddha, or I'll even say Marx, there's poetry, there's truisms, there's lessons to be learned in the existence, where it's capitalism or it's the pursuit of spirituality. When you begin to take the stuff literal and you begin to
Tyler.
Ogie.
Right?
Dog just went nuts. When you begin to parameterize yourself into these, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you limit the human experience, then you've limited the human experience. And what a loss to everyone. And then all this sectarian violence that we see every day.
Yeah.
We see it more in the Middle East than we see it here. All because of religion. All because you don't believe like I believe.
Oh, well, hell, you know what happened in Western...
goes on and on and on.
20 years ago, it was happening in Ireland.
And it's like our politics here, which are married. They follow the same themes. Our political discourse here is now religious discourse. They're inseparable. Not that they talk about religion. They follow the same themes. If you're either with us or against us. If you're not in this camp, then you're an alien to be... What do they say now? You're not American if you're not with us, or you're a traitor if you're not.
Well, they throw that with the people that are the biggest proponents of it. The Judeo-Christian one, where they say, the evangelicals, they love the Jews for one reason.
They want the end of the world to come.
The end of the world's going to happen in their neighborhood. And they need to have, they're the people who's supposed to be primarily involved besides them. Because obviously they're not going to be here when it happens, because they're going to be called up to heaven. And the only people are going to be left the worthy doubters.
And who's the facilitator of the end times? Who's the character?
The Antichrist.
Yeah. How ironic, right?
I know, the Antichrist.
How freaking
And they're
ironic.
following the Antichrist. And Antichrist is an enigmatic figure who everyone follows like he's the Messiah, and he can do no wrong.
Do no wrong.
And if certain people
Only
see him,
I
they go,
can
like, my guy's super
this.
evil. There's nothing. I mean, I heard someone defending him on social media. I won't even say the platform anymore because they don't do shit to police their own backyard or front yard. They were going off and say, well, man is so flawed and God sent his only son to do it, so it shows that he loves us that much. Going, oh my God, you just proved that everything he does, they see the failures in themselves and the failures in him. A guy that never, ever, once, ever apologized for one thing in his own life. Think about it. I was doing one word. That would have taken so long. But the biggest apologist for talking about forgiveness and confession and all this stuff is a guy that, I hate to say this once again, and I know it's going to piss off the coming over here, that always lies. Always lies. Not some gilding the lily. Outright lies. He just said the other day that it was a fictional... that it was fictitious emoluments clause in the Constitution that there's no law against making money from being the president.
Yeah, he's about to find out otherwise. But see that type of.
I know. We just said we were going to bring me back to Earth, Joe.
So let's talk about. Since we're talking about that, let's talk about something somewhat related, and that's coming to this country and not speaking the language.
Well, no, the funny thing about when I brought that story up to you is I walked up to a table and I heard that they had a French accent, and I was almost certainly they were French. And I went up to them and said, and It was very loud in there, so they may have misconstrued my accent as perfect French. And I do have French listeners in the United States and some in France every so often. And I said, bonjour, comment allez-vous aujourd'hui? And I said that like that. And je m'appelle Jacques or Jim. Ooh, I should have said, oh, Jim. But I said that, and then I heard, oh, bonjour, blah, 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 blah. Bière, blah, 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 vin, blah, 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 poisson, blah, 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 pain. I mean, I was getting every fifth word, and I'm just nodding there like an idiot. And I said, oh, my God. For some reason, they think I can understand this gibberish, which is not gibberish.
Well, you started it.
I did. I know. It's not. I said, and I did it. It's like I did it. It's like I invited when I went up to a girl.
It's like the genie out of the bottle, man.
Yeah, it was a genie out of a bottle. Oh, you don't understand the reaction. My reaction isn't that, oh my God, why do they have the gall to do this? No. Oh my God. I can't believe I did that. It was like when I walk up to a girl and compliment her and she won't fucking leave you alone the next 3 hours. You know, you're up your ass the whole time. You didn't expect that. You didn't want, that wasn't mine. I wanted to make him feel confident. I went one phrase too long. I should have said, my name is Jim, and what can I get for you today? And then I could have just ended this. I should have said, or, je parle français, très pauvre, very poor.
Right, yeah.
I speak French very poorly, or whatever. Say it with a very poor, and so I'm using the wrong conjugation, so this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I invited that.
Did they speak English, though?
They did. They spoke English better than I spoke English. The motherfuckers.
But hey, at least you tried. They probably
I know. They spoke
English. They didn't judge you that harshly.
They spoke. They go like this. I go like this. I am sorry if I gave you that impression, but whatever you said for those 30 seconds, I got fish, wine, beer, bread. That's what I heard. And I don't know. I didn't even hear rose or rouge or blanc. So I didn't hear any of that stuff. So I couldn't even help them with that. But the thing that we were talking about is like, okay, I go over to Poland. I'm in Slovakia. I don't understand. I try my best. I point to the things. I know pivo is for beer, and I know the letters IPA. They may be able to say that too. So IPA, yeah. Tak, that means yes in Polish, and we and no and all that stuff. But in the United States, going up someplace, and someone immediately starts speaking Spanish to you, I look like I fell off a potato cart. I'm as Irish looking as fuck. I mean, I could maybe look like one of those guys from Argentina. There's a lot of those German war criminals went there. I look German?
Yeah. One would not immediately take you to be associated with the Spanish language at all.
I do have some Spanish in my DNA, though.
But you look at you, and it's just like, nah, you don't look Hispanic.
No, a lot of, a little Asian. Actually, I do have a little African, too, but primarily the northern part of that continent.
Everybody does.
Pretty much.
What?
Everybody does.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has like a...
I know. You have a little of all this stuff, and then you have the one, the predominant, because, years ago, it wasn't acceptable. Right. There was someone in my family that had sex with an Eskimo.
Wow, I was going to say, I mean,
we know that. We know that with there was one. I imagine it was one thing or another with stuff like that, but there's just someone that eventually got half and half, and they ended up like one person with.
So did you Eskimo. Actually take like the ancestry DNA?
Well, no, I didn't take it yet. My sister, I assume we have the same parents. We look like, my sister looks like a smaller, smaller version. There's no huge, the size difference between my brother and I, other than my brother looks like a scaled model of me.
Okay.
Like at Jim, this is Jim if he was 5'10" and 160 pounds. 158 pounds.
He's a little Jim.
He's lean. He's a lean guy. He's not. I used to be the lean guy too, but I'm 6'4", and I'm 6 inches taller than my brother. So, But that's the only difference. It was just like a smaller version. And I think because he started smoking when he was like 15.
A little stunted growth there.
Stunted growth. And he never ate his vegetables. I ate my vegetables. I did. I ate my vegetables.
It's funny because every time somebody offers me a cup of coffee, I say, no.
Well, the compelling thing,
of course, I'm
not saying eating my vegetables was not a thing that made me innately better than my brother. It made me hungrier than my brother. And when I wanted to eat, I learned if I ate more of the green stuff, they let me eat more of the red meat and the chicken.
I think that's just the Eskimo in him talking right now.
I know the blubber. I do like blubber. I do like when I have a steak. I look for marbling and stuff like that. I don't want to fucking. Do
you have a strange affinity for quilts?
Quilts? No, I don't.
You look at a manatee and go, "Wow, that would really taste good with potatoes."
Well, I think I like pork chops with lots of fucking fat on it.
I wonder how manatee tastes.
That's what Tyler
it's a mammal.
said too.
It's a mammal. It would be close to seal and stuff like that.
They used to call them sea cows because they used to eat them.
Well, the native Indians used to eat
back when actually we were.
Why would you not? Why wouldn't you not eat something until you understood consciousness and things like that? I mean, imagine eating monkey now.
Yeah.
I would.
Little shits that poo in their hand and throw it at you.
Yeah. Shit.
That would be the
shit, which would in French. Merde. Title of the show. Merde. Shit. So we're not going to go. What we shouldn't think about why. I hear humans taste like pork.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
I can tell you this: it kind of smells like pork
when they're cooking.
Burnt body.
That's weird because that's ursine, right? And we're primates.
Yeah, but aren't we like really close?
Well, somewhat
genetically.
I know, but being able to share the thing. Well, the closest we are is a chimpanzee.
Yes.
I've never smelt a bird.
The chimpanzee.
They're here.
So, but I mean, that's who we are. I mean, but then again, we're not that far off from the housefly. We're like 87% like a housefly.
But aren't pigs like one of the only DNA? Other mammal that have sex for pleasure?
Who?
Pigs. Don't pigs have sex for pleasure?
Like you don't think whales do? How do you know?
I don't know. I haven't followed a whale.
Because somebody. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's a fun fact. That was just. It was.
I mean, they have blowholes.
It was clickbait because I wanted to find the end of it. They said 20 of the longest living animals in the world. The number one was something lame ass thing that lasts 14,000 years. A sponge.
Oh.
Because it regenerates. Oh no, jellyfish. But one of the ones way up there, like number 3, the Greenland shark. Guess.
550 years.
That's it. Right around there. I mean, they said 450, they said, but they think it could be up to 550. 550 years. 550 years. You know where that puts that? That's before the Europeans, the Southern Europeans, made their way across here. I didn't want to say discovered because, it was discovered by Indians before then, wasn't it?
Christopher Columbus was a con man.
Yes.
He was an Italian guy working for Spanish people.
As we do.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, we're horrible when we try to start our own business. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go working for the Spanish guy. Yeah. He's the guy of the money.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. So, listen, we'll end this and we got 49 minutes, it looks like.
You know, you guys...
My brain's almost empty.
Didn't bring up Bicho Feo yet.
What?
Bicho
Feo.
We'll talk about it in the next episode. Hold on. 48. We're going to say that...